Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Musicals101.com's I'll Say. I am the co-host of this show. My name is John Kenrick, and I get to first introduce and then interview my co-host, actor William J. McKay. Good evening, Bill. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm very, very excited, not at all nervous about how this evening is going to go. But I, of course, am going to be very happy that I get a double salary for this because I am both the guest and the co-host. Before we go on, there is something not about me that I just want to say, a little thing I want to talk about just briefly. So you all probably don't know this, even though we're in our 7th episode and millions of people are watching. So you probably want to know that when we prep for these shows, we actually prep for these shows and we do a lot of research. One of us has to do more research than another person because one of us really knows all this stuff. But I was watching something on television that my husband had discovered. My husband is my staff, and he had found BBC The Sound of Music musical, which is 3 parts. And it was about musicals. So I cleverly watch all 3 and send a text to John and say proudly, I've watched something that you probably have not seen. And he responds back, no, I have not seen that, Bill. But I would think you should also see. And of course, he proceeds to say something else, which I would have it here. PBS Hollywood Singing and Dancing, which was 13 parts. And I have watched 7 so far, I think, something like that. But what I'm leading up to is on the very first episode, which is the 20s, music of the 20s, I turn the darn thing on and I'm still futzing. I'm not quite paying attention yet because it's that first few minutes. And suddenly, like 5 minutes in, there's John on the screen. Not only has he seen this, but he's one of the freaking hosts or whatever the hell it is. Shirley Jones.
Talking Heads, yeah.
He's just one of the people who gets interviewed, along with Liza Minnelli and Shirley MacLaine and Debbie Reynolds. And there's John. And so
my peeps.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, here we are tonight about to do me from him. So I'm all excited about this because, it's further material from my book, William J. McKay, A Life. Don't let this happen to you.
He has been threatening to write that book for more than 40 years. Now, I do have to point out that although we have been friends for more than 40 years, I have never done Bill before. So this is the first time. And there's nothing like a first time. Let's talk a little bit.
Oh, my God. Well, that's a refreshing change from what you usually talk about.
Let's set the table. Bill McKay and I went to school together. He is now a professional actor. He is a member of Actors Equity and of the Screen Actors Guild. And that's no joke. That means that he is a genuine professional in this business. These are some of his most recent headshots. Now, my question to start off, Bill.
Oh, we're right away at the question. Sorry. I thought I had time to take a pill. Sorry.
So when was the first time that acting had an impact in your life? Was it film, TV? Was it catching a live stage show? When was it that you just looked at someone acting and just thought, I'd like to do that?
Okay. The reason I'm laughing, and then I will always answer the questions, is I'm sure the audience is thinking, well, he prepped all the questions because the two of them work together. Mm-hmm. No. So I'm going, oh, okay.
No lubrication. We're going right in.
Oh, my God. Okay. You have to stop.
Okay.
Because, again, the nuns, the perpetual whatever, are going to
They'll get over it.
Yes. Okay. So I think the question you asked was, when was the first time I kind of discovered that there's a thing called acting? Okay. Something like that. Yes. I would probably say that when I saw Leslie Ann Warren in Cinderella, so I was probably very young, was the first time that which was a CBS, I think, television special adaptation with the Julie Andrews thing. Yes. And I remember kind of thinking, I don't know why because it's such a live feel to it that I said, oh, these people are acting. Well, that's interesting. And I also liked when she, even though I was a boy, that whole in my own little corner, in my own little room thing, because I was the kind of kid that was a little weird and didn't have a ton of friends. And so that's when I kind of realized there's something out there. But the first time that I was completely moved by something is kind of odd, and that would be, it was an episode of the Mod Squad. I don't know why. I have a feeling hormones were kicking in or something. And in it, the lead, which Peggy Lipton, adopts, no, she takes in a child who must have been abandoned on the streets, and she has to give the child up at the end of the episodes. And I think she won an Emmy for it, but she also made me cry. And I went, well, what the hell is that I'm crying? It shocked me that I reacted that way. And I'm pretty sure shortly thereafter, I also saw the movie The Patch of Blue late night on TV. That's Shelley Winters, Elizabeth Hartman, and Sidney Poitier. And it's very tragic and also very depressing. I've seen it since, but it made me cry. And I was moved. And that made me go, what is this going on here?
When was the first time you acted in front of an audience?
I'm sure it was something to do with the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts, but let's just toss those out for the time being, because that is
the one that you remember.
Right. And I'm going to say I know that we did something in 7th grade, and I'm sure my classmates would chime in. It was 7th grade, but I remember, I don't remember which came first, but there was a Christmas Carol. I wasn't him. I was the guy that asks for money at the beginning of the thing, but it was great fun. Or another time I was Ichabod Crane in The Headless Horseman,
The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
And I had brought in my rocking horse and put it on stage. And so there I was going back and forth. And it was very popular. Actually, I got a lot of attention for it, as you might well imagine. And it was nice. And I probably was well received for it and therefore liked it. But then there's high school. High school is what really counts.
Well, of course. Now, in your case, one of the roles that meant a lot to you was playing Mr. McAfee in Bye Bye Birdie. When you and I first met in college, everyone who'd gone to school with you was like, oh, you should have seen Bill when he was in this show. I was not, in the high school seminary system, so I was not aware of its existence. I was a kid out much closer to the city in Queens at that time. But do you still remember the excitement of those Bye Bye Birdie performances?
I would love to turn around and ruin this interview and go, no, I didn't care at all. The exact opposite. The first year was Oliver. The second year was Music Man. I was not anything significant in either of them, but it was fun. I mean, those are real musicals, with the makeup and the real costumes that these schools spent a lot of money. Real girls. We brought in real girls. It was amazing. And the leads were exceptional. It really was quite thrilling. And then finally, I got a lead. It was very well suited to me because he's kind of a neurotic kind of mess, Paul Lynde would be the character. And so I kind of was like that. And I played it like that. There was definitely Paul Lynde stuff. And I don't know why I was so popular in it, meaning I can't explain it, but I was really popular. And the thing about is that I think it was the first night. It was the reprisal of Kids in the Act 2, I believe. And I say the line I'm supposed to go, and the cue, the cue for the orchestra. The orchestra was staring at me, absorbed in whatever the hell I was doing. Yep. Had no idea it was time for them. It wasn't like they were reading a magazine. And then I said, whatever I said, you probably know. What did I say, John?
What about a water gun or something like
that?
Yes,
and it was a cue. And I turned to them and I probably said it again with a look of desperation. And the audience went nuts. And what you have to remember, you don't remember. Well, you have to know, I am the typical, even though I didn't know I was gay, the typical gay kid who was nowhere. I had friends, but wasn't into sports, picked on unmercifully. It was not easy. And I was in the seminary. My joke is that, even the teachers pushed me into the locker room. They did not, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's stolen from a chorus line, by the way. But it was mind blowing for me. And the performance, I have to say, I guess, even though was so good that they changed the bows, that I was moved up. And these other people on the stage were excellent. So it was that touchdown in the football game that everybody wants to have. And therefore I was hooked.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hear that.
And accepted.
One quick question. You were born in my homeland, Astoria?
Okay, I thought we were going to go for the year. I was going to go,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Astoria General Hospital?
No, I was Booth Memorial,
Ah,
which is what that was called at the time. Yeah, so we
right.
were both. We are
So we're
both.
born in the same building, dude. How
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, we are. It was
Um,
Booth Memorial. It's the same hospital.
it could have been because
All
there's
right.
really only one hospital in Astoria. I don't know what other one it could be.
Yes, we are
Um,
both Queens
yes,
babies.
both Astoria Queens kids. Now when we met in college,
Oh
Bill
God,
was a lot thinner, and
I'm
my
so
don't
happy you did your research.
do
Go on.
not feel bad, Bill, because I had the
Look
same kind of issues.
look how cute
Uh,
you are. You
oh,
have
look
nice
how cute you
hair.
are! Come on, enough. No, are you kidding? Oh my God, look at the hair.
Yes.
Look at the hair. We had hair, man. We
And
were
yeah.
helmeted. We were helmeted against everything. Well, we got to do a couple of really good musicals together in college. We were in Camelot in our sophomore year. And then in our senior year, we were both in Man of La
Oh.
Mancha. That is you in the middle of the photo as Dr. Carrasco, who is also the Knight of the Mirrors.
The villain who, as always, doesn't get the girl. Story of my career. Go on
Well, and how convenient. I never got the girl either.
and say
And
who you are.
and you see me kneeling to the side there as the Padre. That is moi, all in brown. The only way you'd ever catch me in one of those habits. And playing the Man of La Mancha in between us there on the pallet
On his
is
deathbed.
the wonderful actor Jeff Tracta, who went on to star in Young and the Restless. He's currently on tour.
No. The Bold and the Beautiful. The Bold and the
Oh,
Beautiful.
Bold, excuse me, Bold and the Beautiful. I can't keep track.
They were similar show. That same
Now,
station.
you know the soaps better than I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Now, after
Wait.
yes,
Please, let me say this. College. Yes, John and I were. He did 3 shows, and I did 2. One year I didn't. I needed to. It was the seminary. I needed to recover. So it was the junior year. But the shows were produced and directed by Harold Buckley, a gifted director who was, I think, the first in the nation to do Joseph in the Technicolor.
the first person on earth to do a staged production of Joseph.
Okay.
With Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice involved
in our little, our little seminary.
Yeah, 400-seat theater.
Yes, and the Man of La Mancha. Just how it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about my performance. I'm talking about the lighting, the way it was done, the religious aspects. Yes, we were in the seminary at the time, but Man of La Mancha is very Christ and Mary Magdalene and the whole thing. It was beautiful. One of the proudest things me, okay, but the show, wonderful. Quick story though, I played the Knight of the Mirrors. He has a big giant sword. He's a villain at one point, and I had to do something, and I slammed the sword down into the ground and didn't tell anybody. I kept it very quiet. I didn't do it into the ground. I shoved it right into my foot. As soon as the performance was over, I went to the emergency room. Good times.
I
Good
didn't.
times.
You never even told me that at the time. Oh my
I
God.
didn't tell you at the time. The school didn't even know, but it showed up on the insurance.
I do remember when we did La Mancha, Buckley wanted you and I to come out and take our curtain call together in one bow.
Oh, you probably wouldn't have wanted that.
And because it was our senior year, I looked at you and said, we're going to do this a little differently.
That's right. We did it our way.
I said, we will walk out together. I will bow, then you bow. And you're like, but then you're giving me the start. I'm like, yes, you bow after me. Your part was larger than mine, so it was only appropriate. And we both got our moment, and we still, we did what we were told to do, and that's called how you work within the situation.
Well, now we would never do that, especially with an equity card. No,
heavens no. Now both of us went on to teach in the years after college.
We both left the seminary, in case the audience was wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you went on to another seminary. You went on for another
very briefly. I went on for a couple of months. Didn't even finish a semester. I was gone by Thanksgiving because eventually you got to do the right thing. But anyway, and that's another story for some.
I know the story.
Yes.
This is where 2 people know the story, and we're just going.
And well, now you, as well as teaching, then began to pursue acting studies. What got that going?
Okay, I'm not quite sure what we're skipping here, but while I was teaching in a Catholic school for a $10,000 a year.
About right.
But I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and loved the kids. And if they're watching right now, just loved it, and they know that I loved it. And we did do a musical. You had suggested it. It was a P.T. Barnum. It's not the Barnum,
yes.
right? It's not the Barnum that we know. Yeah. It's a different Barnum. But it was
figured a great
out
children's musical. It was first rate.
Right. And I figured out that I could throw in some other songs legally. I don't know. And right now it's like 30 years ago. So if I did,
the statute of limitations has run.
Yeah, it's over. But I threw in other songs, and it was wonderful. It was a lot of work. And so, yes, I did that. But are we leading up to the professional stuff, the real stuff?
Yep.
Okay. So then I did get a master's degree in education. So I stopped. I didn't do anything acting. I was afraid to apply for college because I was afraid. I didn't know my craft. I was afraid of an audition. I also was really skinny with a lot of zits, and that's how I felt about myself. And I just said, I was terrified. I really wanted to go to Hofstra to study acting for my undergrad, but I did not. Got a MA in teaching, education, and I'm really trying to skip quick, and taught in a very private school, Buckley Country Day School. Should I stop?
No, don't stop. I just want to pause for a second. So this is no straight line into an acting career. You are working your way there. You are finding where the passion is, and you're making a living at the same time. Maybe not $1 billion, but you're making a living.
I did not ever think I was going to be an actor at all. I was done. Meaning, of course, I'm the typical, as a little boy, yeah, I wanted to win an Oscar. I would watch the Oscars. One night, I will get back. I'm focused here. I'm focused. My mother put me to bed, and the Oscars were at 9 or something like that. And I would open the door, and I had a TV, and I would cover the TV with a blanket so I could hear the TV from the living room, and I would watch the Oscars. Raindrops kept falling on my head. I told her that would win, and she was like, "How did he know that?" She didn't know at the time that night, but I knew the next morning. I was into this. I was into this. I would watch stuff on TV that no kid should be watching. I watched Beckett's Happy Days. Now, you're going, Happy Days, the 50s show? No. Happy Days is a pile of garbage with Irene Worth, an actress, on top, and she does a monologue for 90 minutes. I watched it. I didn't understand it, but I watched it, and that's insane. I just absorbed it, just like any little boy or girl would know baseball statistics and that kind of thing. So I was always into it, but never was going to be the actor. I'm focused. Back to what we did. So I didn't do anything, never thought of pursuing it, and taught in a private school. I had my first class included Brian Trottier's. Well, he was in the room next door. Brian Trottier is a major hockey player. I was so psyched. You do not know. Favorite hockey player. That's a sport, John, with a hockey.
I know that.
Yes. The Islanders. Oh, I was dying.
I've seen bits of it on television.
Thank you. Actually, on this odd cacophony of both. But in the class was Erica Slezak's daughter. I don't want to name the daughter, but Erica Slezak was a major actress on One Life to Live. Many Emmys, and well-deserved for, she played Nikki and Vicky, or Vicky and Nikki. She was great. I mean, I was thrilled just to meet her. So she was in the class. She certainly knew I was interested in the topic. I would ask about her. I should be talking about the child, but and her husband. Her father, by the way, is Walter Slezak, who won a Tony for Fanny, and
Walter Slezak.
Her husband was Brian Davies, who was the original Ralph. I am 16. I think he was 17 in The Sound of Music, and the original hero in Funny Thing Happened on the Way of the Forum. So this was a woman that I was like, I don't want to discuss your child. Let's discuss life. Of course, I did the professional thing. There was an auction at the school, and the prize was that you got to tour One Life to Live and have lunch with her. And the teachers wanted to do it, so all the rich parents let us win because we didn't have a lot of money, and the rich parents did. And we did. And Erica Slezak did something for me that is the biggest gift that probably any actor could hope for. As we were touring the set, and I was thrilled. I watched that soap opera. So I'd be going down the stairs, and Asa would be going up, and I'd be ready to schwitz, okay? But she pushes me into the casting agent's office, pushes me into the office and goes, "This is Bill. Maybe we could hire him to be an extra one day." And they did, with another of my fellow teachers, Carolyn, and we got to do an extra. And unfortunately, that made me professional. And $200,000 later, not earned, spent, went into this profession. And because of that, they did like me, and they kept asking me back. I think I did the show 67 times or something like that. It's my resume's over here someplace. But there we go. That's what made me, quote unquote, professional, because I had to join the union immediately, which was after 3. I could only do 3 shows.
Now, I want to give people an idea what appearances on a soap opera were like. Now, All My Children was on your...
I also did them, yes.
Yes, was on your list. Here are 2
Wait till you see this.
little clips. The first one, you are with arguably the biggest, most famous star on the series, the woman who was the most nominated and most put off of all.
But when
Emmy
she won, wasn't that great?
Wasn't that a great moment?
It was a great moment.
Here you are going up to get an autograph from when her character is having
her character. This is acting,
right.
Guys. This is not.
This is a scene from the show.
Oh my, you can pull quite a crowd here, honey. Oh, I guess it's time. Yeah, I think so. Hello.
Would you please sign my book, Miss Kane?
Of course I will. Thank you. Who should I make it out to?
To Steve.
Steve.
How long has that been your nom de plume? Yes,
I was thrilled. There's more of a story, but we're not going to do it because it's not that interesting. Well, it is, but it's not.
One more scene, and in this one, you're just in a crowd at a baseball game in the bleachers, but the lighting is great.
2 out, last chance. Come on, Jamal. Come on, you can do it, son. Just a hit, buddy. Start it off. Let's go. Come on, Jamal. Knock it out of the park, baby. Come on. Come on, Jamal. Come on, baby. Come on, Jamal. Come on. That's all right. That's okay. No problem. You be the man now. Take this guy deep. This is no pitcher here, Jamal. No.
Wow. Please just let me say something. Okay. This is what I want to say is that this has been an interesting week in my life because my staff, my husband, we went looking for these tapes and I couldn't find them and he found them. And so he pulls them out and I go, "Oh, this is amazing." And I kind of knew about that one and I knew the camera was on me. So I said, "Let's look for that one." And we both put this in the machine, a VCR. We still have one. And we're both looking at me in this. And I'm sure we can all agree that, no, see, that's the wrong way of putting this. I was shocked at how I looked because now I'm quite a bit older. And I looked at that and I didn't think much of myself the way I looked. I've already said that. I did not think I was a good looking man ever. I'm okay now, it's okay. But I looked at that picture of me and I went, when my husband turns and you could just see his brain going like this, because he's only known me for 16 years, 14 years, 16 years, 20, what are, oh my God, I could see him running in the room, 14 and change. It was lovely to see that and to look at myself and not want to vomit. That's all I want to say.
That's a good feeling. Now, you wound up for a long time working for a major airline.
Oh, okay. I would just say that I was on the soap operas many times. I did lots and lots and lots of extra work, lots. And as a result, I would get, I got SAG, which is extremely important to get.
Screen Actors Guild.
Yes, extremely important to get. And because of those lines with Susan Lucci, it was a weird way to get it. I was able to also get equity. So these are the big milestones. And of course, at this point, there's the pictures and all those things you have to do. But yes, I would say, are we skipping the schooling?
No, by all
you just want to go to the airline. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
but point out, you went to the Actors Studio at New School University.
Yes. So
and you got yet another master's degree.
Yeah. So what happened was, of course, I did all this soap work and stuff, but eventually it got tiresome. Not the soaps, but the other being extra. You're a prop. for the most part. You have great days sometimes where you're on the stage with Al Pacino, not the stage, the set with Al Pacino, or so, and it's like, oh my God, I did a movie recently kind of with Meryl Streep. And again, it's like, I don't believe I'm in this room. But a lot of other times, no, you're standing behind a taxi cab and you're never seen or something like that. And it could be kind of boring. I don't love it, it was not rewarding. That's probably a better thing to say.
Yeah.
And so I gave up. I said, I think I want to stop. I had taken classes. I'd done a lot, and some shows, local community shows and that sort of stuff, but I gave up. And about 2 weeks later, the New York Times had an ad for the Actors Studio School of Drama. And I think I got the pamphlet and the catalog, I should say. And off I went for 3 years, dedicated my life fully to that. And that was an interesting time. So I want to answer your question. So when I got out, then you still have to make a living, because you don't get out. And, sometimes the people who get out of the school of the Yale Drama School, the one at Lincoln Center, which I can't think of right now, Juilliard, or NYU, which one of the two of us taught at, that would be him. A lot of them get out and they work big stuff. Not me personally. My school did give us Bradley Cooper. He used to be in the courtyard. I was a smoker then. He was 2 years ahead of me, but he used to be in the courtyard, or I would see him around the place, and he was not a star then. Oh, really. And then I did see him do The Elephant Man as his thesis, which what
appropriate preparation for something he would play more than once in his career.
Correct. And not only, he is, yes, he's wonderful looking. Yes. But the talent was exceptional.
I saw him in Elephant Man. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, so did I. He was great. So when I graduated, no, the work did not come. I went back to teaching, and then a long-term relationship I was in began to end and fall apart, and I had to do something. And so I, worked for a major airline and did so for almost 16 years.
Yep.
And I ended that a week ago. So I am no longer blue, not mentioning the airline at all, because that would be rude.
Of course.
And I'm not sure, but I'm out of that job. A good job. I mean, I was a flight attendant for 8 years or something like that, and then management stuff.
So
a little rough on older guys.
But it's an impressive accomplishment. Now, in the past few years, you've still gotten into some acting projects. You've gotten yourself involved. You've not fallen out of touch with your craft. You were part of something called The Guys. Tell people about that.
So proud of that. While I was in the Actors Studio, the first year it was rough for various reasons. Another story. Second year, it was a 3-year program. Second year, my father died. Third year, September 11th, we were on 12th Street and the towers were hit. I was home. I had a class that morning, couldn't get into the city. But I was also, we didn't even mention this. I was also a fireman. I was not a New York City fireman. I was not a FDNY. I was a Long Island fireman. And so 9/11 was not easy for me. It wasn't easy for me as a fireman, and it wasn't easy for me having to go to the city. St. Vincent's was right there off the subway. We were 12th Street. The night before the towers went down, I looked at the towers because we did Inside the Actors Studio that night. I remember looking up at the buildings going, wow, there's so many lights on it, because we're right there. I mean, it's right there. I remember that night. And the next day was that horror. And so there was a show done in the it was The Guys, but I can't remember where it was. It wasn't The Flea, or was it? It was, anyway, it was done off Broadway. And a fireman that I knew got us tickets because it was free for firemen. And I saw the show. And it's about a fireman, a captain who has lost his entire company. All his men have died. And he needs to write their eulogies. It's like 3 days after the thing. So he is raw. I mean, he hasn't dealt with it. And he needs to write the eulogies. And so he goes to a woman. His name is Nick. And he goes to a woman, Joan, to write the eulogies. This is a play by Ann Nelson. It was amazing for me to watch. It was mind-blowing for me. I said, I've got to do this, which is exactly what an actor, that, You know, people want to play Tevye. People want to play Man of La Mancha. All those I want to do too. But this role, I desperately wanted to do it. And so I did. I used it to get into, I rehearsed with it, used it to get into the actor studio. I'm very proud to say that it's sometimes, like Paul Newman, it took him 8 tries. It takes many people, many tries. My first try did not get in, even though I was a member of the school. They did not just give it to the students. It did not work that way at all. We had a higher shot. There's steps that you have to go through. Someday we'll talk about the actor studio. But the second year, I was smart. I said, if I do the guys, that might affect them. So we did it in session. Again, something I would talk about at another time. But for the audition, I did 5-minute segment from it. And I am very proud to say that I got in, and I have since done the show many times. I've done it in Reno. That's the one you saw over there. I've done it at the studio. I've done it at the kind of famous Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor. I'm very proud of it, and I haven't aged out yet. And so I'm hoping to do it again. It is probably one of the proudest things of my life.
Now, tell us about the EMT scene that we're going to be watching part of in a minute. This is something that you did during this past year.
Yes. Okay. So what would almost want to say here is, again, you know, all these years passed by, and when I became the flight attendant and then the supervisor and all the things I did, and with a relationship that had, you know, been a disappointment and fallen apart, and you know, I was kind of nowhere. I was kind of just I could say lost, but kind of nowhere. Did meet my husband relatively quickly, so there was a lot going on. And so acting as a profession, even though I could go to Los Angeles free and easily, it just wasn't happening. I did do the guys, and I think a couple of extra pieces, you know, extra work, and even the airline sometimes would hire me for pieces. They would do that with those of us who were actors. But I didn't do much. And then the pandemic hit, and I was one of the people who voluntold, as I call it, to leave for a while. I kept my insurance, but was not, you know, to keep the airline afloat. You know, all part of what was happening with the government funding and all that sort of stuff. We stepped out so that they didn't have to pay me, but kept my insurance, which is, thank God. And what I'm leading up to is I had cancer right after I got married in 2014. A couple of months later, I got cancer, and too long to go into, but various forms, various things, unpleasantries. But we thought we were good, even though we knew we had it still. We were keeping under control, Memorial Sloan Kettering. And so just after I left JetBlue for the year off, it got aggressive again. And so we had to deal with that. So the time off probably was good. And I lost one of my fellow, I'm keeping looking at the time. I don't want to go too long here. Okay.
Go ahead. We're good.
Just as I got sick, so did another a fellow employee at JetBlue, a manager, somebody above me, a friend, not a close friend, but somebody I really liked, as a matter of fact. And it turned out I had 2 cancers 6 years ago. One was a tumor and another was a cancer. The tumor was a weird kind of thing. He got the tumor this year also. And so we wrote each other because I was about to deal with mine. He was dealing with his, and I wanted to booster him up. And the deal was that I knew he might pass. He was very ill. But we were going to booster him up. And we were going to, then when it was my surgery, it was going to be right after New Year's. Then we were going to focus on me for a little bit, and then we we're going to get back to him.
Right.
But unfortunately, 2 days after Christmas, 2 days after Christmas, he died. So that was a few days before my surgery. And by the way, this man was 37 years old with 2 children. I did not take it well. Now, there's a point to all this with your question. My surgery happened. It went well. I am considered a survivor now. And then we're just sort of fixing the damage done, the surgery that has to be done to put me back together. But I had all this time off. And actually, when he got sick, I was more aware of it. I decided I want to do this again. and got my headshots again. I did them in Los Angeles. It worked nice to work for an airline. Flew to Los Angeles during the pandemic, first class. Thank you. Didn't have to pay for that airline and back. And then also did some here, and I was taking classes at the Actor Studio sessions. So I was so blessed to have all this stuff available to me during the pandemic. So while most actors were losing their work during the pandemic, I'm that oddity that sort of was starting over again and had a lot going for me. I had the time to get the pictures done and learn the new way of, you don't send your 8x10s out anymore. It's a whole other deal and all that.
Welcome to the new world.
Correct. And was taking a class at the Actor Studio online, Zoom. And he said, you are to talk about something, the instructor, that happened to you during the pandemic, life-changing. And I gave the story that I just gave you, only I barely got through it. And then as the class would go on, he asked us to create something based on what we had been seeing on TV or on the street. So what we're leading up to is, so I had to create a fictitious, I was an EMT in real life, but I was not an EMT during the pandemic at all. And so I created and worked on and wrote a scene for myself, a monologue about an EMT who experienced, and his partner who experience treating a patient who passes, a child, and then he and I get get COVID ourselves because we didn't have shots at that point. Remember, this is all fiction. And then you're showing a clip.
Yes.
I think you're at this point in the segment.
Yeah. At this point, the two of you are facing you're in beds where you can see each other in the hospital.
Yes. And please know that this is a tape of me doing the work. In other words, I would be looking at you if this was the segment, but my husband is taping me practicing. So you're watching a rehearsal. You're not watching me facing you, which I should be doing.
I don't know the time. All I know is at some point I woke up and it must have been my turn for some attention. They were switching the bag on me. I didn't feel great, that's for sure. I assume it's the same day. I don't know. Same noise. I look over at him and he looked great. Not that he's been looking great anyway, but, I could see in the face a kind of a panic. And so I said to the doc and the nurse, I said, can you go over, my friend? And they said, well, first I'm going to finish with you, which wasn't much, but they went right over. And clearly something was wrong, and I could see movement. I could see, I was able to see him, and he was looking right at me with a look on his face, absolute panic. And you want to, you don't want to scream out, I love you, man, across the room. It's not what we do, and that would have been stupid. I didn't know what to say. What we'd all been doing lately when something goes on, we give each other that, that fist bump thing. So it probably looked like I was doing Black Power, but I did that for him, and he kind of raised up and did the same kind of thing. They pulled him out, and he still had that panic look on his face. The elevator was real close. So they brought him to the elevator. He's still looking right at me, and I could see which all three of the elevators were on the first floor, and 14, 16, I think 14, something like that. I had time. And it was like the whole room got quiet. And I know it didn't. Maybe it's super focused or something. But I watched the elevator coming down. I looked right at him. He's as you know, I'm a big Yankee fan. He's a Mets fan. How that ever happened, I do not know. And he knows I'm a big Jorge Posada fan. Obviously, we're talking 15 years ago, at least. God. The elevator opens. Oh, my heart was pounding. And they wheel him in, but he grabs the door. I don't know how he did it. And holds on. They stop for him. And he points right at me. I think he said this. I don't know, but he said, Posada sucks. And he gave me the finger. And he put his fist out. The doors began to close. I could see his face. Absolute fear. And I couldn't do anything for him. The thing closed. Up he went. I was alone, and I never saw him again.
Wow. Just, you know, if anyone thinks it's over, it's not over till it's over. I am so glad that you are restarting your acting career and that you're willing to give this a shot again. You've got, and I said this to you even back in college, that you had it and that you had something. And whether it was rising from the dead in Camelot or terrorizing a madman in La Mancha, or here just opening up your heart in that scene. If you didn't pursue this, someone up there would be angry at you, because that's a gift, man. It just is.
There's two things I want to say. I think we're getting towards being done. So the two things I wanted to say, and this is said to whoever is listening, okay? And one of which is acting teachers. Acting teachers are human beings. And I cannot recommend enough that if you want to be an actor, you should go to school of some kind, whether it's a class or actual school, if it can be afforded. But you have to remember that those teachers are human beings with their own prejudices and gifts and backgrounds. So if a teacher loves you, and that's encouraging, but remember, why do they love you? They might, you might remind them of their uncle or, somebody that they loved in the past. You need a couple teachers to remind you of that. That's the easy one, because if you're being encouraged, that's a great thing. But if you're not being encouraged, and I've had a couple of acting teachers who did not think that much of me and said so, or treated me badly, or I would watch other people being treated badly by them. This doesn't happen often. Please don't, that's not the case. I had some amazing teachers. Yes, Andreas Manakakis and Elizabeth, dear Elizabeth. Oh my God. Focus. Don't let a teacher stop you. Don't let a teacher stop you. If several teachers tell you that you maybe, should pursue something else, like work at McDonald's or something, you need to hear that too. There's a certain point where maybe we don't need to be spending all this time and money, but don't let one stop you, because who knows what's bothering them. There could be a pimple on their ass, or you remind them of their Uncle Schmo, or they're jealous of your talent, or they're just having a bad year, or maybe they just don't like you. Okay? I had that, and I almost gave up. And the next year, or several years later, but the next year, I was getting A's, and I became a member of the Actors Studio. It doesn't make me better than a lot of other actors, but I didn't give up. I didn't give up. So that's one thing I wanted to say is get an education, but remember that the teachers are human beings. Sometimes they could be encouraging. Listen to them, but listen to, many teachers. But if they're negative, don't give up with the one. If a lot are saying something, then you need to hear that, but hang in there, keep trying. I am grateful that I did that. And if you're a teacher, one of the best ways to teach is not by screaming at people. It is by encouraging. Make them respect you. Make them afraid to come in because they want you to love them and to do everything they can, not because they're afraid you're going to yell at them, but because you want to do so well that you try your hardest.
I would add one thing to that. And
yes.
This is what all of these interviews that we are in the process of doing, hopefully show you. Don't just have a plan, have a backup plan. Each person who survives in show business has a backup plan. If you don't have a backup plan, you don't have a plan to begin with. A backup plan means a way to make money between acting gigs. You need a career to back up your career.
A
Wanya,
waiter may not do the trick, although
we
lots
just
and lots of money. A bartender, many have done it and do very
waitering,
well.
bartending. I did restaurant management. I was a maitre d'. I never waitered, but I maitre
Yeah, but
d'.
name that one restaurant. He was at a good one.
I was at a couple of good ones. I was
The
at the
Russian
Tea Room, and the Five
Cool.
Oaks was a very famous place in its day. But let me get to one last set of questions, which
okay.
is coming. Before we get to some of the current events that have come up in the last couple of days.
Oh, the questions. Oh,
yes. These were originated by French television personality Bernard Pivot on a show called Apostrophes, whatever, apostrophes. And they were based on a questionnaire created by Proust. And they were used by the great James Lipton on his Actors Studio interviews.
A man who was really kind to me.
And kind to me as well.
I really liked him.
Way. Many people tell such wonderful stories.
I can't remember the answers to the question. I can't remember the question. Right. Go on.
Bill, what is your favorite word?
Oh, okay. These are so bad at first. Of course, one should say yes, because that would be nice. Yes. But I'm also fond of ubiquitous, but mellifluous. Mellifluous.
Mellifluous. Okay.
Very pretty word.
What is your least favorite word?
Biopsy.
What?
May I never hear it again.
What turns you on?
I didn't prep that one. I forgot about that. Okay. Wait. Okay. Excellent theater is amazing because there's a lot of crap, okay, and a lot of, but when you sit there and you see Billy Elliot flying around on that thing, there's too many, I'll be all day, but you see Billy Elliot flying around or whatever, that is amazing. And then probably also Disney World.
Okay. What turns you off?
Oh, I didn't prep this one out. Oh my God. Okay. Unkindness. People are people dicks sometimes. And I can be too, but when somebody's like that all the time, yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Okay, there's two. I really like the sound of my husband's laughter, whether he's made the joke and he's laughing at it, or I've made the joke and we're both laughing. I like the sound of my husband's laughter because it not that it doesn't happen a lot, but when it's well earned, it's good. The other thing is that man who talks on the monorail on the way to Disney World, because happiness and joy is it's even on the, remember I was a flight attendant, so it's even on the monorail from the airport to the other part of the airport. But so that's cool right there. But the one going to Disney World is particularly awesome. So
okay.
But my husband's laughter.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Styrofoam. Who invented this? Why did they invent it? It is disgusting. I make my husband do anything styrofoam for me. Unpack it, he does it. I have to leave the room, if not the dwelling that we're in. It's awful.
Luckily, it's going out of style.
Thank God.
Let's hope. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh God, I can't get it.
Okay.
I had all day to prep, and I forgot some of the. Okay. Look, I'm an ex-seminarian, and I believe in God, and so I'm not fond of and avoid saying the God one or Jesus Christ, any of that. Don't like doing it. Okay, and the see you next Tuesday is not good. So I avoid that. Okay, it may be in my brain if somebody has earned it, and there are some people out there who have earned it, but I don't use that one. So one would say, fuck. I can't believe I'm saying this, but fuck is kind of got to throw in a negative, like, you fuck. And then, but there's also like, I'm standing in the gym and I'm seeing the 20-year-old go by and I go, oh, fuck. Okay. So I'm going to settle on asshole, because no matter what you say, it's demeaning. So if I go, my ex-bosses are assholes, I can't make that good in any way, shape, or form. They're really assholes.
Yeah.
Or they're assholes. But they're assholes. That was long, wasn't it? Asshole.
You're having fun. Okay.
I don't know.
What profession other than your own professions would you like to attempt?
All right. I am an anomaly in the fact that I've been a flight attendant, a fireman, an EMT, a teacher, an actor. I think I've forgotten some. That is a seminary, the kind of thing.
You're also a supermarket checkout person.
Yes, John, I was.
Way back in the day.
Okay, John. And where did you? Okay. Yes. Wow. Yes. So I'm kind of lucky. A master of none, but even though I have master's degrees in 2 of them. But if I could do something, I don't want to be an astronaut, and I could this will be on delay. So in about 50 seconds, my husband will scream. And I wouldn't have thought this years ago, but I would love to have been a professional something in sports, believe it or not. Soccer. I know, John, I know. Because in college we hated, but now I got to tell you, when they win that Olympic, you can be the figure skating guy, but the soccer lately, when Italy won this year, I thought it was going to plot.
I'm waiting for the Winter Olympics. Chris Marsder, I can wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yes, John, that's very good. But there's men's diving. We just had men's diving. Anyway, focus, Bill.
Okay.
I wouldn't, sports and then to be a coach would be kind of awesome.
Okay.
There are so many guys that used to beat me up in school right now who are going, what? That's not him at all.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say?
Okay, this one I prepped. Now, I know that everybody who's really religious says that when they go to heaven, they want to sit on a cloud and stare at Jesus as he talks. I have a feeling that Jesus would go, what, are you freaking kidding me? This sounds boring. I don't want to listen to me talk. I have a feeling that everything on earth that we loved is going to be going on up there. So I have this one plotted out. When I get up there and after he accepts me, I hope, please God, and I see all the people I love, including the one who just died. Stop it. Okay. That he's going to go, okay, your penthouse apartment, which overlooks Central Park, is over there. And the back of the apartment somehow magically also is a beachfront apartment. There you go. And you're going to be bored, I'm sure, at times. So you're going to have tickets to every single opening night performance, the originals with the original cast of everything. John, come with me on this. This is awesome. The original casts of all of them, you are going to attend, and you're not going to know they're awesome because you're just going to attend. When you finish that cycle, then you're going to get to star in any of them that you want to star with. You're going to be Barbara Streisand's whatever in Funny Girl. You're going to be Tevye, and you're going to be Billy Elliot flying around. And you're also going to get to go to all the Disney Worlds. And every single time you get to go, you're going to forget that you were ever in Disney World. So it's all going to be new. Yes, John, this one I thought out.
All right. Yes, you did. All right. Let's do some current events.
We're done. Thank you.
This week has been so packed with events that even though we did an episode 2 days ago, we've got more news to report on. The wonderful Hadestown is reopening in a couple of weeks, and its amazing cast is pretty much returning intact, including Tony winner Andre DeShields.
His hands. Weren't they amazing?
Go, Andre. We are talking about a man who has been a Broadway star for literally generations. He was the original Wiz in The Wiz. He was one of the original leads in Ain't Misbehavin'. He was a Tony nominee in The Full Monty. He's been in so many great shows. Thank heaven he finally got his Tony in this. Well, Peter Page, his incredible co-star, is working on a film project or a TV project right now, so he can't join the show immediately. The wonderful actor Tom Hewitt is going to be stepping in temporarily to take his place for a few weeks. Some people may remember Tom Hewitt as the wonderful Frankenfurter in the hit revival of Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was also the second actor to play Scar in Lion King on Broadway. It is so exciting. I mean, Bill, wouldn't you be excited to see him in this?
I'd be more excited if I was playing the part, John.
Well, hey, but once
I am happy, yes. He'll be wonderful.
I'm sure he will.
But Patrick Page was exceptional also.
Now, I do know that you, Bill, are a huge
On camera
Barbra
now.
Streisand fan.
Really? Barbra Streisand? Who is she? I don't know.
Yeah, right. You just do adore her. Who doesn't?
I would grab all my stuff right now, but I
For
wasn't prepared
those
for you to say this.
who do not adore Barbara,
Looking for
talk
something
amongst
about it.
yourselves. We'll give you a topic. Get over it. That's your topic. Okay. Thank
I'm
you, Coffee
verklempt.
Talk. Thank you, Coffee Talk with verklempt. Well, finally, after years of rumors and maybes and nothing
Oh,
happening,
okay. I was going, where are we
Funny
going?
Girl
Okay.
is coming back to
Okay,
Broadway.
I interrupted. Funny Girl is coming back. Who is playing?
And
Oh, there you go.
for those of us who love musicals, it is genuinely exciting that Beanie Feldstein is going to be playing the part of Fanny Bryce.
Why, John, who is Beanie Feldstein?
Beanie Feldstein was Minnie Fay in Bette Midler's spectacular revival of Hello, Dolly 2 years ago. She is a hilarious comedian, a fine singer, and I think she could be a very, very exciting choice as Fanny. I saw Funny Girl done out at Paper Mill not too many years ago, about more than a decade ago, actually. Leslie Kritzer, who had never appeared in a Broadway show at that point, played the role of Fanny, and she was electrifying. She was just out of this world. So I think the show still has tremendous potential. If it's done correctly, it could kick butt. Michael Mayer, who directed the show in London in a recent revival, is directing it here. It's a little scaled down so it keeps the budget reasonable, because the original is a very expensive show to do. They recreate the Ziegfeld Follies. That's not cheap. But I love Funny Girl, so I'm very much looking forward
And she's
to this.
currently filming Merrily We Roll Along in reverse over, I think, 20 years. They're going to do it in parts. Oh, God, here he goes. With her best friend is the lead from Dear Evan Hansen, so they're best friends. So I am personally looking forward to this. Okay, moving on, John. There's very little time.
No, wait, we got 1 minute. Merrily We Roll Along is not Stephen Sondheim. If you're watching, I apologize. It is not a great show. It's not a great show. It doesn't work well. And to spend 20 years filming it is ridiculous. What happens if an actor dies?
I think it's kind of, oh, yeah, that's a danger. Yeah,
just make the damn movie.
I'll just step in.
Will not make it any better. All right, back to more fascinating news. Now, for a long time, Broadway has had a guilt complex about the Tony Awards. When you and I were growing up, Bill, everybody watched the Tony Awards
back in the 90s
here in different Broadway theaters. The Schubert, the Winter Garden. Sometimes they celebrated the history of a particular theater by doing
the cat behind you,
doing the Tonys there. Oh yeah, there's always a cat behind me in this house.
So where the Winter Garden was, that's where Cats was. Go on.
So the good news is that after a long run at Radio City and at the Beacon Theater on the Upper West Side, the Tonys will once again be in a Broadway theater, and they're going to be at the Winter Garden, where Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster are set to star in The Music Man early next year. So at the moment, the theater is empty and will be available. I think it's very personally exciting to have the Tonys back in a real theater. Thank you. It's about time. You don't need 8,000 seats in order to make the show impressive. A theater is the place for the Tonys. So thank you, Tony Committee, for finally coming to your senses. I'm guessing they're also just trying not to put 6,000 people in a room right now, which is probably a good idea. And any reactions on your part, Bill?
No, because I don't want to set you off about the Tony Awards. So keep moving, because I want to end with something. So keep going, because we will be discussing the Tony Awards in separate episodes.
And oh, absolutely, we're looking forward to that. And I put the ball in your court. What is it that you want?
Oh, we're ending? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I want to end another thing to the people, and I'm looking at the clock. So this is what I want to say is a lot of people, actors, spend a lot of time, understandably, hoping to get that magic moment. Please, I would love an Oscar. Okay. I would love to be in a film that lasts forever. I don't have children, and it would be amazing to have something left behind. And it's just a dream. But John, what's the percentage? You know, it's just astronomically low of people who make money. And so all of us with degrees or just the want have to remember that sometimes it's just doing the work someplace, that magic moment. I got to do it in Reno. I did the guys in Reno, flew across the country to do it with the great Sandy Niece, that's an actress friend of mine, and did it. And I have this little prayer I say every single night. I really do. It's from Babette's Feast, which is a movie about a cook, and she considers cooking her art form. And she only cooks for these 16 people. It's the one meal she will do her entire life because she wins the lotto. But every night she prayed, and I do something like it, which is, God, give me the opportunity to be the best that I can be. Yes, I would love the Oscar. Probably isn't going to happen. But I made sure, and I'm still trying to make sure, that I'm trying to do that work that I'm very proud of, that you just saw me do about the EMT or the guys. All of us can do it, but you have to be willing to maybe put the dream differently and just do the work.
Dreams evolve. Let your dreams evolve. That's how I would put it to anyone out there. Bill, you let your dream evolve. Mine's continually evolving. You never know where it's going to go next. I do want to let people know.
Another documentary that you're starring in.
Oh, well, no, not another one right now. But
he has other stuff.
I'm going to be, if you're in the New York metro area, on August 25th, which is a Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing a talk in Manhattan at the Sutton Place Synagogue. Weather permitting, we like to do it up on their rooftop playground. If the weather's good. No, we really do it. The first time we did it, it was a talk about Fiddler on the Roof.
On the roof.
I came out and said, a lecture on the roof sounds crazy, no? But in our little village of Sutton Place, every one of us is a lecturer on the roof trying to scratch out a simple talk without breaking his neck. Well, it's going to be about my dear friend Carol Channing. Oh, how I miss her. And it's going to be at 7 p.m. August 25th. If you're looking for information on it, you can contact me through the website, musicals101.com. I'll get information to you. Or you can check out my posts on Facebook. You can find information there too. Bill, it has been not just a pleasure.
So glad we're done.
Honor
yes, thank you. It was fun.
Interview with you tonight, and
we're done.
I treasure you, my friend. You are solid gold. You really.
One day we're going to be interviewing him.
Absolutely. I'm not sure what our next week's episode on Thursday, we're going to be interviewing John Raymond Barker, who is a young actor from Texas, who has, in his own way, carved a life in show business. He works on television. He works in live performance. And he also works in other jobs around the theater industry. And I think you're going to be fascinated to meet him. And he's a lot of laughs. Great guy. Everybody.
And then, wait, and John and I have agreed that coming real soon, Barbra Streisand. We're not interviewing her, but we're
going to do an episode. We did one on why do gays love Judy Garland. I think we can do one on why do gays love Barbra Streisand.
I don't know any who do.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Everybody, have a fabulous week. Stay well, stay healthy. See you all soon. Thank you.